Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us for today's customer success webinar. My name is Rutuja, and I will be your host today. And I'm joined by my colleague Shafiq, who will be answering your questions at the end of today's presentation. All right, let's get started. Welcome all. So, in today's presentation, we will be covering our purchase module, which from end to end process. So in this, our today's topic will be purchase order workflow. So we will be covering on how to add a purchase order, how to receive the stock in your inventory, and how to add cost to your stock. Later, we'll see purchase order approvals as well. If you have an approval process for purchase order, we'll see the workflow of that as well. And then reversing a purchase order, that is adding a supplier within, views and reporting, right? So I'm just going to switch my screen. All right. So here to start, like to add a purchase order, either you can add directly from here, from this 9 toggle bar, or from here you can click add purchase order. So here, um, so the purchase orders in Unleash are the transactions that allows you to receipt in the stock from your suppliers at an agreed price that you can further incur cost to. The prices and the cost incurred from your purchase order will contribute towards the average landed cost of your receipted goods and further to your inventory stock value. Now, to add a purchase order and subsequently receipt the stock into your inventory, first you need to ensure that you have set up the relevant suppliers in the system and you have added your products in the system as well as you have added the warehouse in the system, right? So here I'm just going to type in the supplier name. Here, this is a little bulb icon, which will help you in showing the history if you have the business intelligence model that what are your top purchased ranked by unit. Now in here, you can add other additional details. You can select a warehouse where you want to receive the stock in. You could also add the order date and the delivery date. The order date will be as on today, and the delivery date you can add depending the on your requirements. Then these are the order lines. So in here, you could add the products. Now, this is the purchase unit. So either you can have like if you have multiple units of major that you purchase in, for example, each carton or like packs. So you can add that as well. So here I'm gonna add bananas in 12 packs and I'm gonna mention quantity as 2. So the price will auto populate if you have already mentioned the default purchase price while importing the product into the system. If there is any other comments that you would like to add, you can mention those comments in here. Then you can add multiple product lines. In this case, the grapes, I'm going to purchase, let's say, 200. So this is the default purchase price. You can also change this price in the on at the PO level. So once you have done adding your order lines, then probably you can either save it like the PO or you can place the PO from the system itself. Once you click place, you will then also be able to edit these lines or add any other lines in the system. So from here, you will get the total subtotal of your order and the tax that is applied to it. From this page, you can either email your supplier directly or you can also set automated email notifications. That means when you hit this place button, an automated email will be sent to your supplier if you have specified an email, set up an email ID while adding a supplier, and they will receive the PO with this printed copy of the PO. Or either you can print the PO as well. So this is how the PO will look like. Now, the next process is, let's say you want to receive the stock in. So when you click receipt, so here, before confirming the receipt, If your supplier has some entire stock, you can receipe the PO straightforward. Or else, if there are the partial order that you have received in shipment, you can change this to 100 quantities. So this will turn into split receipt and split complete. So it totally depends upon your process how you wanna um, modify this. So basically, let's say I'm receiving this as a split receipt. So I will receive this stock in. Now, what is the difference between receipt and complete? So when you receive your purchase order, that means you won't be able to change your order lines over here. However, you can still add cost lines. So it can be from the same supplier or it can be from a different supplier. So it can include charges like freight, shipping cost, or any storage cost, or any other cost that you might want to add in. Now, as you can see here, I cannot edit this lines, right? Now let's say I want to add, so this is from the same supplier, and I want to add cost as $100. So whether this is taxable or not, you can choose this and add this. Now, depending on the distribution method that I have set, my cost will be divided among the product lines, that is the order lines over here. So the distribution method is value. So hence it has been divided based on the value of my product. And be this will go to your average cost method, average costing as well of the product. And then you might want to complete the order as well. So this supplier invoice date will be, once you complete the order, this will happen as on today's date. This is the attachment section, wherein you can also attach any invoices that you have got from your supplier just for the record purpose. So you can assign it against those transactions. Now we have received this order partially. So if you can see, this is order 20. If I go into view purchases, here you will see this order has been divided like /1. This means I'm yet to receive this order. Now this delivery date is editable because this is something different. Either you can add the delivery date later, but you cannot add it to the prior of this delivery date. So you can change this delivery date for maintaining the record of when you have got this order. Now you can repeat this process. Similarly, you can confirm the receipt and then complete the order. So once you confirm the receipt, the stock on hand will increase by those many quantities and it will be available for selling purpose. Your average landed cost will be updated once you complete the order. Once you receive the order, your last cost will be updated in the system. So this is the basic workflow of adding a purchase order into the system. Please feel free to drop any questions that you have in the Q&A box. Thank you. The next is on the approval side or the approval process workflow. So in this case, first, what you need to do is go into settings, company, and from here, you can go into configuration page and you have to turn this toggle on, which says require approval for purchase order. Here you can also set the total approval amount that needs an approval process. So here I have currently set to 5,000 limit. So it depends on your business workflow, what amount that you would like to set for an approval process. Now, once this is set, the next step is to assign, to give permission or restrict the user to raise a purchase order for this. So once you have created a role in here, just like I have created for purchase manager, either you can give them access or either you can take that access away. So via role permissions, you can set that up. So let's say purchase manager. From here, as you can see here, product purchase approval, purchase order approval. So I have disabled this for a role. So as an admin, only I will be able to approve it. So if you have given them access, they will be able to approve the purchase order as well. So basically, what happens in this case is when a user role restricts them from approving a purchase order, they will have an option to create and update the existing purchase order, but the purchase order will be given an unapproved status. So so you will need to approve it. So for example, if you go ahead and add a purchase order in this case, I have already created this purchase order. So they will not get this status. They can place it, but they won't be able to complete or receive the order unless and until somebody approves it. So from view purchase order, here you will find an option to approve those orders. Right? So this is how the workflow will be. They will still be able to add the order, modify the order, change anything into the order, but they will not be able to complete or receive the order unless and until it has been approved by the user. Right? And um, so the next part is on the supplier return. So how to reverse a complete purchase order. So let's take an example of a complete purchase order. So for example, I would like to reverse this order, that is return uh, my bananas to the supplier. So in this case, you will need to copy this PO. Either you can directly click return from here, which will create a supplier return, or from this option, you can add a supplier return. I'm just going to create a return. So in here, you will have this lines where is product description or the quantity that you would like to return, and there is a checkbox. So when you return this, it will return the item as well as the cost. Um, yeah. So let's say so return quantity. So the number of the units that needs to be included in the supplier return and the return price. You can also add the return reason in here. What is the reason for returning? So this can be changed in the settings, system settings. You can set that up. Then, if the stock on hand is due to be returned to the supplier, you can tick this checkbox. Otherwise, if only the price is to be credited to the supplier, you can just uncheck this box if you're just returning the price. So I'm returning both things. So I'm just gonna tick that box. Just check that. Make sure that you have amended any cost or anything that is there in here. If there are any comments, you can add that. You can also print this or set a default supplier return template as well, and then complete this. So once you complete this, the stock will be returned to your supplier. So this is how you can add a supplier return. Now, integrating cost lines with your accounting software. So what happens? So if the cost line selection is, let's say, refund, a supplier return for the PO and the cost will be exported to your accounting software, either Xero or either QuickBooks. Then write off a supplier return for the PO and a supplier return for the cost. That will be sent as a multiple journals to your accounting software. So you can also check that in the accounting software once it is been returned. Yeah. If you have any questions regarding this, you can just place them in the Q&A box. So in terms of views and reporting, so we have given an option for view purchases. So here you can view all of your purchase orders that you have done so far, and it will give you the total value as well of all purchase order. If you want to check only open purchase order that are there, you can select from the drop down and check those. This is the action cog icon wherein you can select and you can either change the status, complete the orders, approve the orders, or you can also share cost between the POs. So if you want to share that cost between the POs, you can select those POs and then click on add shared cost. So here you can choose a supplier, let's say Very Good X. You can add the cost. You could also add the reference and then add it. Okay, so I guess one of my POs doesn't have a price. Uh, yeah, so there are no order lines in here. So I'm just going to quickly add the order lines. Yeah, shared cost. Yeah, so I have added that. If you click this, you will see that the cost has been shared. So I have added that, and this has been shared between two peers, and the reference is also available. So this is how you will be able to share cost between two peers from here. Right? The next part is for reporting purposes. So when you go to report purchase, you can see purchase inquiry. So in this case, when you run the report, it will give you the total of like the report of your purchase orders, the suppliers, the product codes, and what is the order status and landed cost. So here you will be able to filter down from to and from date. So if you want to view like specific orders from this date to let's say this date, so you will be able to filter those out and also by product group as well. So you can run those orders. You can have a glance at it and also you can filter down by various statuses. So this is a purchase inquiry report. The next best report to use is the reorder report. So just making sure that you don't run out of out of the stock to complete the sales side. So this is a report where you can place a reorder with your supplier. If you have mentioned a minimum and a maximum level on the product, then system will give you an alert on the dashboard, like how many of the items are low in stock that you need to reorder so you don't run out of the stock. And from here, you can either filter down by product group and also with the warehouse, let's say. So as you can see here, my product group is fruit, and now here I have this minimum stock quantity. So on hand, I have just 24 and I have nothing of it. So instead of creating a purchase order from here for individual product, I can simply use this action card button to create purchases. Now this can be from the same supplier or this can be from a different supplier. All you need to do is add those supplier name in here, and you can also edit the quantities as well in here. So you can just create purchases and your POs will be created. Since I'm ordering this oranges and bananas from the same supplier, it will come under one PO, and this for the other supplier, it will create a different PO. So if you view here, it will take you to that particular PO and you can follow the process of uh, placing the order with your supplier, then receiving the goods in and adding the cost to your order. So this is one of the best report to use. Um, yeah. This is an import and export functionality. So from here, if you have a bulk purchase order, you can always download this template. Here's a little valid icon from where you can see the field name and the description of the field names, you can always add those bulk orders in and import it into the system, which will later be under view purchases, and you can take action on that. If you have any other statuses, like um, placed or costed, receipted, and completed. So if you were to add any other manual statuses that in your business processes, you could always use system, um, company settings, and system, and then from here purchase order statuses. And you can add your custom statuses as well. These are the default statuses that has been provided by Unleash, but you could also add your custom statuses and then build a report. So you could add that as well. Now, this is a view which you can change as well. So here you can click on show toolbar. There are some hidden columns. So if anything that is not required, you can remove this from here, or either you can add those columns in here to have a look. So if you want to add this total as well, you could add that as well in this system. Yes, total is already there. Yeah. And then you can later on save this view. Yeah. So this is how the purchase module workflow will work. If you've got any questions, I would request you to please drop them in the Q&A box so that Shafiq can help you answer those questions. I will now pass it on to Shafiq to answer any questions that we have got.
Right. Thank you, Ritija, for the very informative presentation. So that pretty much covers the essential information that we need to know when we use the purchase order modules in Unleashed. So now let's us jump into the Q&A session. I will read through your questions that you have dropped down here one by one. All right. So the first question from Pooja. We just add the cost one on the PO for the total stock, irrespective of partial receiving items. So, okay, if you create a split purchase order, you could actually add cost to each orders that you have split. When you split it, you have the cost lines under the purchase order. Pooja, could you show it to us?
Yeah, of course. So
okay,
let's do an example.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna take grapes in here. Let's say quantity 20, add things, receipt. So here I'm just gonna make 10, confirm receipt. So if you go back to your purchase order, here you will find the cost lines. So here you can add the cost lines as well, let's say, and then you can complete this. And for the other order, which is 23, so when you click receipt, you will also be able to add the cost line. So once you confirm this, here if you see, you can still add the cost lines.
Yep.
Yep.
Thank you, Ritija.
Yeah.
All right. And then let's go to the second question from Hanan Obidi. Can we receive multiple purchase order at the same time? All right.
Yes.
So yes, you can actually do this within the view purchases screen. You could click on the cog action cog button. Can you show it to us? Yeah. You can tick and you update to the status. To complete it, you can just click on complete orders. All right.
Yeah, you cannot receive those purchase orders, but like multiple purchase orders. Yeah, but you can just complete them.
Yeah, we can complete it all together. Okay, and then the third one, by anonymous attendee. When importing, how do you set up the GST at border charges correctly? in this case, let's say you have GST charges when you're importing a product from the supplier. You could create an NDP, create the GST charges as an NDP product, and then you just add it into the purchase order lines product. Yeah. For example, here Ritija is creating a new GST item, and then you should turn on the never diminishing toggle button. All right. Have to click on yes first and then save. Okay. So when you have created this product, you could add these GST charges into your purchase order lines, and you could assign the charges for the import process. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
and this product will be linked to your purchase account or the expense account. It will not hold the physical stock on hand, but you can add that.
That is correct. I hope that one answers your question. And then we have another one from Jason. How can you run a report in Unleash to review monthly, yearly spend from a supplier point of view? I do this with product, but I'm sure how to do it with supplier. From Jason. Ritija, can you help with this?
To view monthly and yearly spend from the supplier. Yeah, I think using a BI would really help in this
Yeah.
case. Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, for supplier statistic, you can use BI, where it
BI
should
which
show
yeah.
the statistics for expenditure based on the supplier.
Yes. So from here, I guess you will be able to do that, but we can always get back to you on this question.
Yeah. And then next question from Pooja. The shared cost is always on value, or can we set up on weight as well? So the answer is yes. You could actually configure this one under settings, and then go to company and settings tab. Ritija, can you go to settings tab? Yeah. So here there is purchase order cost distribution method, where you could select between value or base quantity or weight or volume to distribute the cost over your products within the purchase order.
Yeah. So this is like a global option where you can set it will be default for all of your purchase order. If you want to set it on a specific supplier as well, then you could go into the supplier and set the distribution method as well, which will override the company ones. So here you can set against the specific supplier as well.
Yeah. Okay. Now, next question from Barry McDermott. On the reorder report, can you include part orders as a column? I believe we don't actually have part orders column within the reorder report. Could you just quickly confirm, Ritija?
Yeah.
Hidden columns, reorder. Yeah. So currently we don't have part orders to be added as a column header within the reorder report. But you could, we will raise it as a feature request.
Yeah, here what we will find is on purchase. That means they are on purchase, which means they are basically on the path or place status. So if something is on purchase, it will appear in here, and it is a clickable option. So if you click that, then it will take you to that particular purchase order, like in purchase inquiry report. Yeah, and here I guess yeah. So you can use the purchase inquiry report to check the path status of your orders.
Yeah.
Like all the orders, or either you can select from orders, view purchases, and from here you can check the path status. Correct.
Okay. Thank you, Ritija. We have several other questions here from Anonymous. We have purchase invoices where receipt and completion dates happens weeks and sometimes months long after the initial invoice date. When we integrate with Xero, it backdates to earlier close month and periods based on invoice or the order date. So currently, the user manually track and amend the invoice date in Xero for the current financial month. This also forces us to keep all financial periods open on Xero. So what workaround and alternative solutions are available? Um, I guess for this one, we'll have to check and verify first if there's any workaround on it, and we will get back to you maybe from Ticket and let you know once we have confirmed how could we do a workaround for this, if that's okay. Next question from Alicia. Can a purchase order be reopened once completed if a back order has been sent after an order has been received? Okay, since Unleash is a perpetual inventory system, so once you have completed a transaction, be it purchase order or sales order, you can no longer change it back to its previous state. For example, you from completed, you want to change it back to received or parked. So in this case, you have to do a supplier return so that you could return these values back into the supplier and you remove it from your inventory. Just as the one that Ritija has explained just now about reversing a purchase order, similar process. Okay. I have an interesting question here from Ahmed Khairul Farid bin Samsudin. So he's asking, for a split receipt, how will it appear in Xero? My company links Xero to Unleashed. Okay. Ritija, would you like to address this one?
Yeah. So when you split receipt, so it will go, it will be exported to Xero once you receive or once you complete the another split receipt. So for example, it will go as a two separate bills, because if there is a gap between those two, like for the shipment to be received, so it will send two different bills, and as well as if you add any cost, it will also send a recost bill along with the PO number. So this will be there /1. Yep.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, and then the next question from Nicole Elliott. Freight, can this be added as a cost line after a PO has been completed? So as I mentioned earlier, since you have already completed your PO, you can no longer add or change any information within the purchase order transaction. So what you can do here is either you manually add the freight cost via stock adjustment into the products, or alternative is you have to create a supplier return and then redo the purchase order and add the freight cost within that purchase order.
Also, what you can do is you can keep the PO in the receipted status unless and until you get the freight cost. And once you receive the freight cost, you can always add that and then complete the PO. So once you receive the PO, your stock on hand will increase by the receipted quantity of the stock that you have receipted it. I hope this helps.
Okay. Oh, I got a question from Hanan again. She just wants us to repeat our answer regarding can we receive multiple PO at the same time? So Hanan, sorry, I know you just disconnected. We will just quickly show it to you. Can you just show back how can we receive multiple POs? So actually we cannot receive the POs, but we can just complete multiple POs at a time within this view purchases screen and just clicking on the action card button. You have to select which PO you want to complete first and then click on complete orders. So this is the only option that we have to do bulk complete the orders, but not for receipt.
Just to confirm that one PO that is split will appear in zero as two different bills. Yeah.
Yeah, you're correct. Okay. I guess we have another question here. Okay, we'll just wait around maybe 3 minutes for other attendees to send another question. From anonymous attendee, what is the difference between receipted
Yeah.
PO and completed PO?
Yeah.
Ritija?
Yeah. So, what happens is when you receive the PO, your stock level will increase, your payables will be sent to your accounting system. The last cost field will be updated for the products that are on purchase order. And when you receive, like when the products are on the purchase order in the receipted status, you cannot complete following transaction. Those are, let's say, supplier returns, assemblies, stock counts, right? So this is for receipted. And what happens on completion? So if you complete a purchase order, you will have the same effect as receipting. However, you will not be able to add any further cost to the PO. So if there are like any additional cost were added since receiving the purchase order, then at that time of completing, the product cost will be adjusted. Your margins will be updated if necessary once you hit the complete button, and then your payables and adjustments will be sent to your accounting system. You cannot add cost to a completed purchase order. So that is basically the difference between receipted and completed. Upon receipted, you could add the extra cost, that is freight charges or shipping charges or any storage charges. But upon completion, you cannot add that. I hope this helps.
Thank you, Ritija. I hope that also answered the question, Pooja. Since you're asking the same question. Okay. Let me have a check. We have another question here from Anonymous. Is there any way to add multiple sub purchase order to the initial PO that is raised? So in this case, our purchase order is for a total number of units from one manufacturer, but these are manufactured in separate lines across a number of weeks. We'll have separate delivery dates and will be delivered to different warehouses. So essentially, this one will be the split PO, I guess. Is it correct, Ritija?
Yeah, you can always add a different delivery dates over here. So by default, this will be the delivery date, which is the header delivery date. And here, as you receive, yeah, as you receive this, so you can only click this one, and then you can um receive this PO from here. Yeah, and you can remove the other one. And once you receive the next order line, then you can change the delivery date. So that will help, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, and this will be delivered to a different warehouse. So you can change the warehouse as well before receiving the order. So once you receive the order, you won't be able to change on the order lines as well as the warehouse. So before receiving, you can change that. Otherwise, you can create two different POs for this. But we can get back to you on this one.
All right. Thank you. So we have another question from Hanan. When will the journal be sent to zero on receipt or complete? So this purchase order that you have created, it will be sent to zero as a bill on receipt. So once you just click on the receipt button, it will send a draft journal, or depends on the settings that you have set between your integration, zero integration, to send it as a draft or paid or approved. I hope this one clarifies your queries. And then another one, deleted PO, can it be raised up again? So as I mentioned earlier, once you have deleted your PO, you cannot redo it, undo it, the status, but you could clone it as a new PO with a new PO number, but having the same information. A follow-up from Pooja. So we can leave TPO as receipted as long as it takes to have the costing And once the final costing is added, then hit complete and we export accounting software only after completing.
So yeah, so when you receive the PO, a bill will be sent, like received payables will be also sent to your Zero account. And once you complete the PO, like add cost, a recost bill will be sent to your Zero account or your accounting software that you use. I think that's all we have. So thank you guys for your time. If all the questions, and we'll get back to you for the necessary answers after checking, and Shafiq will get back to you via support. If you have got any other questions, you can reach out to us in using our support email address, which is support@unleashsoftware.com. Um, and yeah, that's it for today's webinar, and I hope you have learned something from us today. If there is any other questions, please do not hesitate to reach out at our support team. Have a good rest of your day. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.